Hi, I'm Cliff Brodgum with Your Digital Salesman. So if you've got a brand new business, a business that you've had for a little bit of time, or a business that you've had for a number of years, and you're wondering what to do with that business or how to continue to grow your business, you'll want to stay tuned. So here's what I'm going to tell you about today. I'm going to tell you how to use email marketing to attract prospects, engage customers, and grow your business. So here's what we'll cover in today's masterclass. I'll tell you a little bit about us, which is my company's. I'll tell you why I love email. I'll tell you why you shouldn't rely solely on social media in today's world. I'll give you some quick notes about email spam. I'll show you how to get started with email marketing. We'll then cover some creative strategies to grow your list. We'll look at how I use email in my businesses, and I'll give you 10 business or industry-specific autoresponder message strategies. You won't want to miss that. You'll definitely want to stay tuned till the end for that. And we'll also give you some action steps to get started. So, Your Digital Salesman is one of my companies. We are a marketing agency with a focus on website design, social media, search engine optimization. And along with that, graphics design ties right in there, as well as things like email marketing and training as well. In addition, we have relationships with printing companies for anything that does need to be printed after it's designed. Some personal notes about me. I am a Bay Business Group board member, and if you don't know what the Bay Business Group is, that's a business organization that exists in Calvert County, Maryland, which is where I live. I am also the chair of the Lead Share Group, which is part of our local Calvert County Chamber of Commerce, and I'm a United Way of Calvert County board member as well. Our website address is yourdigitalsalesman.com, or our number's 443-684-2184. So next. So I also own a company called Your Calvert. It is a local guide to Calvert County, and it's essentially a daily blog. So it's an online resource or an online magazine of sorts, if you want to think about it like that, focused on events, recreation, food and drink reviews, business and real estate updates, and more. In addition, we also publish a weekly podcast, and that website is yourcalvert.com. Now, I know this company isn't very relevant to most of you or what you're sitting here thinking about, but I'm just going to be using a lot of data and information that I've done over on this Your Calvert website to kind of show you some things or ways that you can go about accomplishing things for yourself. So that's really the only reason that I'm telling it to you. It's going to be my demo, I guess, is a good way to look at it. So as I was saying, Your Calvert it's a local company. It's really only relevant if you live in Calvert County. And Calvert County has a population of roughly about 100,000 people. There's 25,000 people on Facebook in Calvert County. So that's just some general information. So it's a smaller town in southern Maryland. I guess you could kind of call it rural or semi-rural. It's about an hour outside of DC. That's probably a better way to put it for most people. And then everybody always wants to know, well, how big is your email list? So my email list for Your Calvert, this is about a year old or just under a year old. As you can see there's the, we can hover over here and see that, this is the list name, my general email list. When I took this screen capture, there were 5 people that signed up for our email list that day. The previous day we had 16 people, and then at the time that this was taken, there were 626 people subscribed. Total of 27 unsubscribes, and our grand total there. One other thing to note, that this list is a daily email list, so people that do subscribe get emails every single day of the week, or at least 5 days a week. So why email? Email can be very personal. You can share a story or express your thoughts in any way you choose. email has a very high chance of being seen. You're getting, personal access directly to that person that signed up or subscribed. And often if they've got a smartphone, they carry their email with them all the time or can check it at any time that works best for them. You own and control the email, or your email list at least. You might not control your email platform, but you have control over that platform to an extent, because you can always take it to another service provider if, the one that you're currently using isn't working the way you expect it to or expect them to. You can send messages as often as you'd like. Email lets you build that know, like, and trust. It lets you build that rapport with your audience. Another reason that email is so valuable is there was a study by the Direct Marketing Association. This is the major association that deals with, all direct marketing mediums, door-to-door mail, all of those kinds of things. And in their study, they found that email has a 4,300% return on investment. And the percent might be a little hard for you to understand, but if you take that to a dollar figure, that means for every $1 that you spend on email marketing, you get $43 in return. There is no other medium that has those kinds of return on investment. So if you're wondering what you should invest in, you should invest in email marketing for your business, plain and simple. Another reason that I love email so much too is, if you're planning to sell your business down the road, having an email list to go along with your business of people, that you're communicating with on a regular basis, and that these are the people that know, like, and trust you, and that buy your products and services. Whoever buys your business down the road, your whole business, and get your email list, that is a hugely valuable asset to you as a business owner. You can easily add a 1x multiple or more, depending on the industry, just by having an email list for your business. So why shouldn't you rely solely on social media? With social media, you have absolutely no control over the platform. If you pay attention to what Facebook does, they make changes so fast you can hardly even keep up with it, right? But another reason is people that follow you, they still may not even see your updates. I hate to pick on Facebook here, and that's not my goal in this at all. But for instance, in my case, so I'll use my Your Calvert site as an example here. On Your Calvert, I have 5,200 and something odd likes, or fans as you call them. Those people came to my business Facebook page, and clicked like, which basically means they want to see your stuff. Now, Facebook tells you that not everybody's going to be able to see everything that you post. And they've made some major change. They keep making major changes to their algorithms, which mean less and less people naturally will see your stuff. So with just the organic standard stuff that gets posted, very few people are seeing that. In our case, on average, I would say about a tenth or less of our audience sees any particular post we make. Now, this has only started happening semi-recently. It used to be that, with all the different pages that we manage and see the stats for, it would be about 25% or so, give or take, would see all your posts. But that number has definitely gone down, and Facebook has made it very clear that they expect you to pay to reach even your own audience. Another reason that I don't like to rely solely on that social media is you can't export a list of your fans. Heck, you can't even see who half of them are unless they interact with you in some way. It used to be that you could go and click your little like button and see who exactly those people were that liked your page. But that definitely doesn't exist now, especially if you have a very large following of, a few thousand people. And not that you can, see who is subscribing to your email, but at least you can export the list if you need to. Also with social media, there's so many distractions on those pages. If you're in Facebook or Pinterest or, even on Twitter, there's so many things going on the page. There's status updates, advertisements, constant other things calling for people's attention. So there's just so many distractions going on. If you send someone an email, they have it, they can look at it when they're available. And it's going to be there until they have time to take care of it. So here today, gone tomorrow. You make a post on a social network. You post it today, it's unlikely that someone will be able to find it, tomorrow, 3 days from now, or even a week from now. With email, you can send someone an email, and within a week, they can still find the email. It's still right there in their inbox for them. So here's some quick notes about spam. And no, we're not talking about the kind of spam that you can eat. So many people and many good people are doing email all wrong. I've noticed this a lot in the local business circles that, I deal with, and I'm sure you have too. So we're going to talk about all of this, talk about some of my big pet peeves that really, jack my jaw. So spam, the name comes from the 2003 federal legislation CAN-SPAM Act, which was controlling the assault of non-solicited pornography and marketing act. So that's the whole technical fancy term for it. To put it in plain simple words, it's unsolicited bulk email. Unsolicited meaning whoever is getting that message didn't actually request that message. That's where it's unsolicited. The penalty for, sending spam messages is $300, up to $300 per email. So our goals as email marketers or business owners is to only send email to people that want it. There's no reason or no point to send email to people or put people on your email list that don't want what you're sending them. It doesn't help anybody. And in most cases, it'll cause you more problems than it's worth. So really, only send email to people that want it. The list size, the number of people that subscribe to your email list doesn't matter. It's the quality of that list that counts. Having 1 million people on your list would be useless if only 1% of those people are actually people that are interested in what you have to offer. You pay, in most cases, for most of these providers, you pay based on the number of people on your email list. So you only really want people on your list that are going to give you return in the future or have the potential to give you that return on your investment in the future. So someone that doesn't want to be on your list isn't going to be of any value to you. And then there's no point to have them on your list. Another thing that came out of that CAN-SPAM Act was the unsubscribe button must be somewhere in each message. In most cases, that unsubscribe link, it's usually a link, it's not necessarily a button, but that link is usually at the bottom of every email that is sent. And if you're working with a trustworthy service provider, they're going to automatically stick that link at the bottom of every message that gets sent out. You don't have, a way around that in most cases. And in most cases, you don't want a way around it. If people want to unsubscribe, give them an easy way to unsubscribe. If you're not giving them good content, then that's your own fault, if they're unsubscribing. So we'll talk about some more ways, to give people what they want or give people reason to stick around. Taking that unsubscribe even a little further, Gmail in most cases now actually also puts a link in their messages. I think it's normally at the top of the emails. But they've decided that even if the provider doesn't put that link in the bottom, they're going to give you their own way to go ahead and deal with people sending, messages that you don't want. So they have their own way to mark that message as spam in in each of their messages. And if you click that, it's going to automatically block those messages from even hitting your inbox. I'm not sure if all the other providers have that as well. I just happen to use all of the Google Apps products, but it's definitely coming for sure in most cases. And everybody's, eventually, if they don't already, gonna have those kinds of unsubscribe links done for you. So now we get to my biggest pet peeve. Business cards don't count as permission for an email list. So I'm in at least 3 or 4 networking groups, and I'm handing out my cards all the time. And sure enough, out of every single event that I go to, the day or two after, someone jammed me into their email list. Now, just so people know, I don't ever give out or subscribe to any list with that business email that's on my business card. I never do it. So I know anybody, or anytime I start getting email newsletters and stuff, I know that someone's put me on their list without my permission, and then I can go figure out how to deal with it. But when someone hands you a business card, that does not mean they're giving you permission to put them on your email list. So do not do that. When someone does hand you a business card, sure, they can say, follow up with me about so-and-so, and then you can send them an individual email, and take care of whatever that was, or make an introduction. Or even a better way, if you'd like to get someone on your email list that gave you a business card, take that email or take that card, fire up your email client, draft up a message saying something like, hey, it was great meeting you at the Bay Business Group of networking event. Here's a link to my newsletter, or whatever you call your email list, or to my VIP email list club that we talked about. So something like that. So invite them to join that list, give them a link that they can click and then go, join that group if they want. But that's definitely a much better approach than just automatically jamming people to your list. Okay, so now let's cover some of the service providers in this email marketing kind of space. So the service providers for these are the companies that, handle managing your email list, when people automatically subscribe, they're joined to your email list. This is where you would log in and send out those email messages to your list. Along with that, they also have statistics and all kinds of other things that you can look at and view in relation to your email list. So some of these are One Shopping Cart, ARPReach, Aweber, Campaign Monitor, Constant Contact, GetResponse, iContact, Infusionsoft, MailChimp, Office Autopilot, Traffic Wave, and there's a bunch more. Some of these are very specialized and work great with certain other products, and other ones are more general. Lots of people have probably heard of Constant Contact or MailChimp. Some of the other ones that are a little bit more specialized, like One Shopping Cart and Infusionsoft, are great if you have like an e-commerce business and you're selling stuff. Infusionsoft is also a highly automated product and can create very complicated or very simple kinds of automated tasks that some of the other ones can't do. However, Infusionsoft and One Shopping Cart are definitely more expensive than the standard just autoresponder email service provider. So those kinds of solutions do exist if you need them, but they're not what I would call the recommended for most people or for the average user. So now I'll go ahead and tell you my favorite service of the group here, and that is Aweber. So Aweber Communications is by far my favorite. They're actually based out in Pennsylvania. So they're semi-close to me, but they are a great company. I met them at a couple of events, and they really do a fantastic job with all of my email lists. So this is what I use for all of my email lists as of right now. So if you want to get to Aweber's website and sign up, you can. yourdigitalsalesman.com/email will take you there. And also note that is my affiliate link. If you decide to go through that link and you do end up signing up for Aweber, I do get a commission. If you don't, or if you do go through the link, I'm super happy, and I thank you so much for your support. And if you don't, you can just Google Aweber Community. Just Google Aweber, and you can go directly to their website that way if you'd prefer not to go through my link. So moving on. Before I get too far into that, though, and kind of back to the list providers or email service providers, if you've already got a service provider and you've already got some sort of email list started and you're happy with that, by all means stay with it. I'm not telling you, that Aweber is the only choice or only one to go with. I'm just saying that's the one that I found to be the best for what I do with it and what all of my clients' needs are. And when I'm in here, when I am talking about the different services and features, I'm specifically saying that all these features do exist within Aweber, and most of these do exist with all of the other providers as well. Depending on what you're doing sometimes, or depending on which service you're using, they may not have all of these exact features, or you may have to pay more to get them, or what have you. So just kind of keep that in mind. But if you do have some other service and you're not sure if it has whatever I'm talking about in these different things, if you just shoot me a message or get in touch with me, I can tell you in most cases right over the phone or in a quick email or a text, if that feature's available in your particular service or not, since I do use quite a few of them from, some of my different clients have different service providers already in place. So let's keep going. So most of them let you do send unlimited emails. They pretty much all have a scheduler. They have scheduler letting you go ahead and schedule your messages in advance. So I could create the message today or create a few messages today and have it be scheduled for a week out or a month out or 6 months out or whatever schedule you need. That lets you really take advantage of any downtimes or slow times that you have, especially if you've got a very seasonal business where you may be super busy, in the summer. You could take a few months during the winter or the spring and try to schedule out as much as you can in advance just to make it easier. And then you don't have to worry about those messages going out. They're just automatically going to go ahead and go at those times that you've set. And back to unlimited emails. With that, unlimited emails usually means unlimited emails. You can send your list to as many people you can send your list as many emails as you would like. In most cases, you pay for your list, the price you pay for these different providers is based on the number of people you have subscribed. So you can send unlimited emails to them with no problem, and you could say you can send unlimited emails to an unlimited number of people, but obviously as your number of subscribers goes up, so does your cost a little bit by little bit. Social sharing, pretty much all of them, when you send a message, you also have the option of letting that message be shared out to your different social channels, so like Facebook or Twitter. You also have email statistics, so they can tell you, the open rate as a percentage of people that were sent to, or even just a number, or how many people clicked the link, all those kinds of statistics that you would like to see about the message, so you can figure out, which ones work best or how to go about, optimizing your future messages. It's got drag and drop editor. So basically you can, if you can type in Word or Microsoft Word, you can pretty much, use any of these kinds of services to send out, your emails. They're not too difficult. You can drag stuff around the screen. Oh, I need to drag an image here. I need to drag a text block here. Fairly straightforward, fairly easy to use. List segmentation. So if, for instance, you sent a message and then you decided that, half of my people didn't open this message, maybe I want to send them another message with maybe a different subject line or something like that. You can segment that list and then target that whatever segmentation you're segmenting on. People that opened a message, people that didn't open a message, people that haven't opened a message in, a month, 2 months, all kinds of different ways you can slice and dice your list. So the next bit here, these last few points, are specific to Aweber. And basically these are the different types of posts you can make. They're specific to Aweber in that I'm using their exact terms that they use within their system. But pretty much everybody lets you send a broadcast message. And a broadcast message is just a standard email. You log into the service provider, you create a new message, you type it up right there, you go ahead and send that message to your entire list, a segment thereof, or you schedule it to be sent at a later date. That's just a broadcast, the standard kind of message. Next, we have the blog broadcast. And a blog broadcast is the same as a regular broadcast, except for the fact that you create your template for your blog broadcast, but then this message is automatically populated with the contents of your blog post. So it sounds really complicated, but it's not that difficult to set up. You just grab your RSS feed URL, and that gets plugged into Aweber or whichever other provider you're using that supports blog broadcasts. Once that's plugged in, Aweber, for instance, will monitor your blog anytime that RSS feed has another item in it. So for instance, if you have a WordPress website or blog that you publish a new post to, as soon as that post is published, Aweber's going to query that feed at some point and then automatically grab that contents and dispatch it out to your email list. So that's a pretty slick little way to get all of the content on your blog automatically sent out to your email subscribers. This is the exact same setup that I use for my yourcalvert.com website. My feed that is actually not managed directly by my site, but it's actually handled through another company, FeedBlitz. They do manage my feed, but then Aweber grabs from that feed automatically and then dispatches that right out to my email list as soon as it happens. So it's not real time, but it's very quick. It's normally within 15 minutes to an hour or so, give or take. Whatever I posted to my blog gets sent out to all of my email subscribers. So that was that 625 number, whatever it said, 626. Those people automatically get everything that gets published to my blog. I hope that's not too confusing, and if it is, don't worry about it. We can, you can get more information on that later if it's even relevant to you. It's not relevant to everybody unless you have a blog that you actually publish and update content on. And then the last option here is a follow-up or autoresponder. And this is really the real magic of all email services that allow it. Not all of them allow autoresponders or follow-ups. But I will tell you that Aweber allows an unlimited number of autoresponder sequences or messages in your autoresponder sequence. I know some of the other services are a bit limited in that. But what an autoresponder or a follow-up sequence does is, let's just say you had let's just say you didn't know what the internet was, and someone was going to explain what the internet was to you. And obviously the internet's very big. There's all kinds of information about what is a web browser, all these little different pieces of information that one actually needs in order to search the web. Now, you know what that really is because, you've been using the web for years and you have all this knowledge. But if you didn't, let's say we were going to break that down. So I want to send, let's just say 5 emails or 3 emails. And the first email I'm going to, tell you all about, the different kinds of ways to connect to the internet. So I might say that I might talk a little bit about broadband or, DSL. I could talk about cable. I could talk about dial-up, all those kinds of different ways to connect to the internet, so your connectivity. Next, my next email could talk about browsers. So you need a web browser in order to browse the internet. And then you have some choices there. You could be using Internet Explorer. You could be using Chrome. You could be using Firefox, whatever you'd like there. And then that third email could then talk about how to search. How do you go about searching? What if you want to search for the weather? Can you just enter weather into a search box? How do you search for things? So those are my 3 emails. And now the question is, so how do we get those out to, our list? So let's think about this the old way or without the autoresponder method. So you've got, let's just say you've got 3 friends. You've got John, Bill, and Sue. Okay. And let's say that each of those joins your email list or wants this information on one day after the next. Okay, so John tells you on Monday that he wants your information. Bill tells you on Tuesday. Sue tells you on Wednesday. So you're like, okay, no big deal. I'll just email this to you. So you fire up your email, and on day 1, you send John that first email. Not too bad. Pretty easy. But on day 2, Bill tells you he wants that email. So you're like, okay, I'll start you out with sending you that connectivity types, that first message that I'm going to send of my 3 little sequence. However, also on day 2, though, now you've got John. You already sent him the first message the day before. So now you got to remember to send him the second message. So that's getting pretty hectic. But now on day 3 comes along and Sue says, oh yeah, I want that too. Send me all that information about the internet. So you send her message 1, but now John already seen the first 2, so you got to send him the third and Bill the second message. So as you can see, that's pretty hectic and a lot of work. And if your list size was a little bit larger, you can see how this would become almost impossible to deal with without the use of an autoresponder. Now with an autoresponder, this becomes amazing and works fantastically to give your audience that good quality content without you having to take all of your time to constantly get these emails set up and sent out and produced. Whenever someone joins that list, it's automatic. So the way the autoresponder works is you just create that email sequence. So I create my connectivity types email that talks about the different, connection types, your broadband, your DSL, your phone line, those ones. So that's one message. And then I create my next message, my next email as a follow-up. And that next one talks about the different internet browsers. And then I create my third message that talks about how to search. So I've got all these messages put into my autoresponder. And when you've done this in your autoresponder, you get to also choose how long do you want in between each message. So it could be just a day, like we talked about in our example. It could be between the first 2 emails I want 1 day. Between that second and third email I want 3 days, 5 days, a week. Doesn't really matter. You can even have it say that, I wanted to send that second email 3 or 4 days after that first email, but if it is on a Saturday or Sunday, I don't want it to be sent, and then it can be sent out only during the week. So you can even block certain days So if you know that you always like to, get in there and send a standard broadcast email on, say, Saturday or Sunday, you could block those days out from when your autoresponder would send out a message as well, so you don't overwhelm your audience. So there's all kinds of customization options, but the autoresponder really is the best piece of this whole series here. And if you stay till the end, we've got, when we get to those 10 specific businesses, that's where I'm going to really give you some ideas as to what you can do with that autoresponder, or how it can help you generate new business or re-engage your audience that will end up buying more of your products and services in the future. So I really hope that makes sense, and I hope that autoresponder, didn't confuse you. And so here is, this over here actually is a little screenshot from, let me get back, there we go, sorry about that. This actually is a little screenshot from Aweber's site here, the different message types. So this is what it looks like. You can decide if you want to follow up, if you want to broadcast, or if you want to broadcast. So here's how to get started. So the first thing to note about the email services is a single versus a double opt-in, or a confirmed opt-in, a double confirmed opt-in. They might call it those kinds of terminology you might have heard or you might not have heard. But here's the real skinny. This is all you need to know about it. So a single opt-in basically means if you have the little forum on your site for people to subscribe, the person goes there, they type in their name, email, or whatever other fields you ask for, and they click submit. Well, as soon as they click submit, they're joined to your list. That's a single opt-in. Now, what Aweber normally requires is what they call a double opt-in or a confirmed opt-in. So if I'm on your website and I see that little box where you ask me for my name and my email, I put my little name and my email in there. I click subscribe. Now, that doesn't actually join me to their list yet. What it does is it then sends me an email to whatever email address I provided, and it says that, before you join this list, you need to click this link. So I'll go ahead, go to my email, I click that link. So now I'm confirmed and I'm joined to that email list, and that's called a double opt-in. And a double opt-in, really helps to ensure that your list is a quality list. Really helps to cut down on, just people that didn't know what they were doing or signed up willy-nilly. It's really a good thing. However, I know Aweber does it. Aweber pretty much requires it. Not all of the other providers, do it by default, unlike Aweber. So just something to make a note of. And what this also means is that you can't just add people to your list. This is really good proof for people, and anytime someone does complete any of those processes, their IP address is recorded, by the provider anyway. So Aweber, can easily provide proof if they were ever subpoenaed or anything that so-and-so did opt into your list. This is, that it was a double opt-in. They clicked the link in the email, they confirmed it. So you're not just throwing people on your list. This is you have a paper trail of sorts. All right, I think we beat the horse dead on that one. Okay, so the next step, after you know about that, there's nothing to do with that. That last bit was just for your knowledge. So really the first step, once you've created your account, and by create your account, I simply mean you go sign up, you type your name, email, you give them your credit card information, whatever, you've bought your account. But that real first step to getting your list set up is creating a new list. And basically it's very simple. You give your list a name, as you saw from that previous slide. Mine was YC-General. That was just my general list name. You can call it anything you want. You can call it your business name, call it something else, call it your prospect list, call it your customers, the people that purchase, whatever you want. And along with that, most of the providers as well allow you to create an unlimited number of lists, or at least Aweber does, within your account. You're not limited to the number of lists you can create. You're just, charged based on the number of people on all of your lists. So that total number is what makes up your, price there. So you create your list. You get to put in some other information too. You'll enter in all your address and stuff that's not necessarily shared. But your address does appear, whatever address you give, and that list setting does appear at the bottom of every email. That's another piece of that CAN-SPAM Act. So after you've entered in that basic information, pretty standard, fairly quick, doesn't take too long, you then get the opportunity to create your welcome message. And that welcome message is what people see when they join your list. So you can say anything you'd like. You get to thank them for subscribing. It's always a good idea to restate, what they're going to get and the frequency. So could say, thanks so much for subscribing, or Bob, thanks so much for subscribing. I'm so glad you decided to join the VIP email list club to receive the latest recipes, from our group on a bi-weekly basis. And also, attached is the free recipe that we promised to you. So that could be your simple, welcome message. So once you've got that welcome message all crafted, and then you're ready to move on to the next step, which is you create your sign-up form. And the sign-up form is pretty simple. And back in creating that welcome message, that's where I talked about the drag and drop editor earlier. There's a drag and drop editor. You can edit that however you'd like, as fancy as you'd like, as simple as you'd like. It's up to you. I generally keep mine very simple. My Your Calvert one has a simple header at the top, and that's really the only real thing there. Very basic. It's up to you though. Aweber does have over 600 something templates to choose from if you'd like, so you can get as advanced as you like or as simple as you want, and you can even edit the HTML code if you know how to do that sort of thing and create your own from scratch. So creating the sign-up form is pretty much the same thing. They have a ton of different templates to choose from. Ones with, transparent backgrounds that are simple with name, or, where you can populate just a name or an email address, on up to ones, that are very themed to whatever kind of business you happen to be in. If it's restaurants, they've got stuff. If it's dining, they've got stuff. If it's a golf course, they've got ones that look like grass. So there's all kinds of different forms to choose from. And if you can't find exactly what you're looking for, you can always customize something. Aweber lets you change every little function of that sign-up form to be exactly to your liking. You can change the words, you can change the button text, you can change the colors of the buttons. Everything you could possibly think of is pretty much customizable in there. And if not, there are other third-party software that will integrate with it to allow you to do pretty much anything you want. So after that form is created, you then have a few options for publishing it. You can actually copy the code, the raw HTML kind of code or JavaScript code. You can copy that directly to your website. They've got plugins if you're a WordPress website, or WordPress, or maybe even Joomla. I'm not sure if it's Joomla, but they definitely have a plugin for WordPress that makes it easy to help you integrate your form if you need help there. Aweber will actually also host your form. So even if you don't have a website, you can have an email list. And I would venture to say for most people, an email list is that very basic first step that I would highly recommend. And you can get it started without even having a website. You could even, they'll give you a URL that you can point people to. You could even just buy a simple domain and to redirect it right to that URL to make it easy if you didn't have a website, So that's definitely a great first step. So there's absolutely no reason you shouldn't have an email list. Even if you don't have a website, you can have an email list. So after you decided, like I said, how you want to do it, I think that's the only three choices you have. Oh, they even will let you select to send the code directly to your website developer. So, if you're maintaining your own email account and you have an outside website developer, you can go ahead and choose to send it to them, and it'll email them all the information that they need. So once that bit's done, you're done. You can sit back in your chair and just wait for people to subscribe. It's actually not quite that simple. Now you need to promote to people that you've got, this thing that people can sign up for. Because if no one knows about it or no one comes to your page, then no one's going to obviously sign up. So we're done, but now we're really just moving on to the next phase of the process. So we talked about that welcome message. So here's my actual welcome message directly from my Aweber account. So now you're looking here at their message editor. So this is their block editor. You can add the headlines, which I added the headline. Here's some paragraph text. You have options for adding all kinds of things: buttons, articles, images, coupons, so on and so forth. But I said hi first name, so this lets you personalize it. So if on your sign up form you ask people for their name and email address, you can use variables like this. That way, whoever you send it to, so if you're sending it to your John, Bill, and Sue, it's going to say hi John, hi Bill, or hi Sue. And it automatically takes care of that. There's like 20 or 30 different personalization bits to choose from. It's not showing it on my screen right now though, because it just wasn't selected when I did it. But it's there for you if you need them or want them. So then I say, hi, first name. Thanks for subscribing and welcome to the York Calvert community. We look forward to being your source for all things Calvert County. So that was me thanking them for subscribing and telling them, what I'm going to be sending them. And then I even go a little bit further and say, right now I want you to do two things. And this is me trying to engage or start to build that rapport with people. I ask them to reply to this email. And surprisingly, I do get quite a bit. 1 in 5, maybe 1 in 10 people actually do click reply. So it really is a valuable tool to figure out what exactly your audience wants, which makes it much easier for you in the future to create great content for them. And then I close by saying I look forward to hearing from you. Talk soon in signature. So you can also create a signature block that, inserts whatever you'd like in your signature. So mine signature is my name, my company name, website, phone number, so on and so forth. It's all there. And then I have some other standard stuff down at the bottom that got cut off, but there's other junk there if you want that kind of stuff typed out. But shoot, let me go back in. But your provider automatically, like I said, when that message is sent, they're automatically going to put that unsubscribe URL and other stuff at the bottom of the email that's necessary to be in compliance with the CAN-SPAM Act. So that's that. The only other thing to note is this whole idea of, having people reply to the message, this idea was given to me or told to me by Derek Halpern of Social Triggers, which is socialtriggers.com. That's a fantastic marketing blog as well. And this idea is really working for me. And he says it's really working for him too. So, thanks so much, Derek, if you ever do listen to this little class here. So next, what I went ahead and did was grabbed a few different kinds of sign-up forms, or some sign-up forms that I thought were pretty decent from different areas of the web. So not all of these are my clients or anything. These are just, or my own sites. These are just ones I've taken from around the web. So the first one here is actually the York Calvert website. So this is actually a pop-up that will pop up after someone visits the site for a certain number of time. So after like 10 or 15 seconds, this forum will appear for them, and they can decide if they want to subscribe to my website. This pop-up was created using third-party software. It was not created directly in Aweber, but it's just a piece of software that does integrate with Aweber. So the second one, this is a very, very simple, quick form I put together, talking about this specific course. So learn how to get the most from your website, social media, and small business. As a bonus, we'll also send you our latest course for free, how to use email marketing to attract prospects, engage customers, and grow your business. So I like that, these both tell people what you're going to give them, tells them why they should join. You're giving them a nice free bonus. And this one doesn't tell them how often I'll email, but this one over here, I do say we'll send them directly to your inbox. Yeah, daily emails over there. So whenever you can tell people how often they're going to get something, that's definitely a positive. Here is one from, this is one of my clients, and we do a lot of work together. But she's a virtual assistant, and she says, want to know how you can increase your business by working with virtual professionals? Join our mailing list and receive our free Excellence Virtually ebook and monthly newsletter. So that tells people they're going to get a monthly newsletter. And as a thanks for joining, she's giving away an ebook. Now this one, when you click on this is just an image. It then takes you to another little page where you can enter your name and email. This is an Aweber pop-up, and this is actually on Aweber's own site. So they do a really good job of telling people that 1 to 2 times a week you'll get case studies, advice, and the other examples, of what email marketers are doing. So this is a very good one that really tells you what you're going to get, when you're going to get it, and, any free gifts that may be had. Down here on the right, we've got, this one is actually from the big national chain, Red Robin. Theirs has a few steps, but it does tell people that you're going to get a free birthday burger reward if you join. So theirs does take you, to another page that has you fill out a few extra fields, a name, email, address, a few different fields, birthday, those kinds of things. But it does a good job at telling people what they're going to get. Now, if you are on Constant Contact, that's what this one is. Yeah, this one's Constant Contact. This is what the forum, looks like. You don't have too many different options in Constant Contact. You've got a few. You can change it a little bit, but you can't get anywhere near the kind of customization that you can get from within Aweber. I could have changed the button color here, the name, the email, all kinds of stuff. Put a background around it. That's just what Aweber offers. Constant Contact just doesn't have that feature really. So if that's useful to you, then you may, that may help you make a decision between the multiple services. This was a sign up that rockbottomgolf.com is doing. They're a very big, tens of millions of dollars, $25 million a year company. They're doing a little drawing for a rangefinder. If you, fill out all your details and subscribe and join their email list. The next one over here is what Copyblogger at copyblogger.com is doing. The line isn't here. This was just so I could get it all, so you could kind of see it in one breath. This is a screenshot of the top of their main website page. So instead of them doing a pop-up or a little forum, what they actually do is they basically took the top half of their page, they get people to try to watch a video, and then they try to get them to actually register. So they're registering, which is also joining them to the email list at the same time. So that's another unique way to go about it. So those are just a few different forms to give you some idea as to what, you can think about or what can be done for your own sign-up form. So now we'll talk about some creative strategies to grow your list. And if you paid attention to what some of those other companies were doing, some of those kinds of things are what we're going to talk about. So some of these strategies are obviously a little bit simpler than others, or less creative, I guess. Invite your current contacts doesn't seem all that creative. But what it does do is it gets you that initial, bump of people to start reading your stuff. And it gives them the opportunity that if they like something, maybe they'll forward it to a friend or share it to someone that they think might find it valuable, and maybe they'll subscribe. So inviting your current contacts is always, a simple place to start. So if you've got, friends or family that you think will benefit from what you're offering, or you think they'll find it interesting, probably the better way to think about it. Send them a link and invite them to join. Remember, you're inviting them. It's okay to send someone a one-time email that you know and invite them to join your list. You can't put them on your list. Don't just go add those people to your email list. But it's okay to send someone, an email to invite them with a link, to go join your email list. That's absolutely fine. And a very good thing to do. So this is what you're doing with all these business cards that you collect for people. If you've got that email list, send them an email. It was nice to meet you at, so-and-so networking event. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about us or keep in touch with us, go ahead and sign up, click here to sign up for our email list. It's a fantastic way to invite those current contacts and people that you're meeting. It ties right in there with the business card. So that's the way to go about networking and getting people from those networking events on your email list. Events and trade shows, same thing. People that go to an event or a trade show, you might be able to entice them to join your email list. Maybe you do a little giveaway or a raffle. If you sign up for our email list while we're at this trade show, we're going to draw one lucky winner to receive, a free gift certificate or whatever makes sense or pertains to your business. Exactly. Also, on the back of your business card, a lot of business cards, people only have stuff on one side of that business card. Well, on the back of that business card, instead of having nothing, you could have it printed simply to try to get people to join your email list. So it could simply say, join our email list, and you'll get this free gift or ebook, which we'll talk about later. But it's a very simple way to hopefully try to get people to join your email list and get the word out there about your email list, because people that don't know about it can't join it. Another simple strategy is you can post a link to your email list on your social channels. So post that link on Facebook or Twitter. And I do notice that every time I do post that link, I get people to subscribe. And these people are already following me on the social channels, but it's a way to kind of move them out of those social channels or off those social channels, or at least join your list. And that's fine if they still stay your fan on Facebook, but it gets people it lets you get them out of just the Facebooks and the social media worlds and get them to your email list, which is a valuable thing for you. Next thing here is an opt-in offer. So wherever, this isn't helping you get people to your list, but once they get to the sign up form for your email list, if you're making an offer to them of some kind, maybe it's a free ebook like you saw with the Virtually With You or Excellence Virtually ebook, or maybe it's the registration, which was essentially free ebooks that Copyblogger was giving away. Could be a simple fact sheet, or here's a how to get started guide, or a quick checklist. Any of those kinds of things help to push people over the edge when they're when they've come to that spot of where they're ready to sign up. So if you can give them something that helps them make that decision or cements the deal for them, you'll get more sign-ups with no extra work there. That's the whole point. In addition, or if you're maybe a restaurant, maybe you give away a coupon to come try it the first time if they join your email list. Join our email list and we'll give you a free appetizer. And you just make that appetizer coupon part of that welcome message. Very simple. It's automatic. There's nothing you have to do every single time. The next more creative strategy is also to run a contest. So if you were a restaurant, it could be, you could do some kind of contest for a gift certificate. You could have people submit their photo or something, and the winner gets, the best photo gets a free gift certificate. So some kind of contest that people find valuable. Contests is the way that Your Calvert generates all of its traffic, or the majority of its email signups all come from contests. And I'll explain those contests in a little bit when we get to one of the future pages where I have some more information there for you. So the next way is to partner. Now this is probably the most creative strategy that exists. And partnering has been around for a long time, and it's a fantastic way to grow your list. I first came across or thought about the idea of partnering with other businesses, even if they're in a similar industry, from Jim Cockrum over at jimcockrum.com, I think is the correct address. But he started things off with eBay and started partnering with other people to get things done. And, partnering is a fantastic way. So basically the way that this works is, let's say I was a new business. I just set up a brand new little store, but maybe right down the street is another store that's been around for, let's just say they've been around 10 or 15 years, and they've been building a customer list, and they have an email list. So you've got no one, they've maybe got, a few hundred, a few thousand people on theirs. If you can figure out a way to partner that's a win-win-win for everybody, then it's a no-brainer. When you pitch it to that other business owner, they'll likely go for it. Or maybe you guys have to work together to figure out what the best offer is that makes everybody happy. But partnering like that is a fantastic way. But your win-win-win, you want to make it win for the customer, win for, you, because you're getting more subscribers. So maybe it's a special deal for the customer, whatever this service or product is that you're offering. And then it's a win for the other business owner. Maybe you're either paying them, or you're going to do the same kind of thing for your list in the future once you build it up, using other sources as well. So all kinds of different ways to partner. But that's a fantastic way to really grow your list, and it can be very quickly. If you have 0 people and you figure out a great deal for, someone that has 200 or 300 or 1,000 people on their list, that's, you can grow your list to a few hundred or, people overnight. So this is a fantastic way to just really break right out of the gate and get people on your list. Just make sure that it's a win-win for everybody. Business owners obviously want to protect their list, so no one's going to give you, the names of the people on their list. They'll send out a message on your behalf or something to that effect, but they're never just going to, or they shouldn't be exporting that list and giving it to you. For my Your Calvert, I'm approached by people all the time that want to partner or want to do things. And you just have to, as a business owner, obviously be selective and make sure it works. But, if people really put in the time and effort to make sure that they've got the right deal for everybody and that everybody wins, the other business owner will go with it. It's a no-brainer if it works and makes sense for everybody. So put in the legwork ahead of time. Do your little bit of research that you need to do to figure out, to the best of your ability, what you think will be a good offer, and then present that to the other business owner. So here is one of my contests that I actually run from my Your Calvert website. So basically, just so you know real quick, so Captain Cook's Bayside Foods, they're a local mobile kitchen. They're actually a fairly new business, newer than my business, and they actually didn't have an email list at the time of when we did this, or any kind of way to generate a bunch of publicity for their own selves. So what I did was I partnered with him, and we did a contest that said, join the barbecue platter giveaway and get a chance to win one of 10 free barbecue platters, courtesy of Captain Cook's Bayside Foods 52. So if we go through this, so we all partner together. So let's look at this from each of the different angles. So what does the customer get? The customer is getting the opportunity to win one of those free platters, so a $10 value essentially. Think about it like a $10 gift certificate to the barbecue place. Now the barbecue owner, what he's getting out of the deal is, so he's giving up obviously $100 of value to his business, but what he's in it for is he's in it for the exposure that I'm bringing. So I'm bringing the exposure, and what I'm getting out of the deal is I'm getting people to subscribe to my email list. So that's what I'm getting. People are subscribing to my email list. The customer gets the possibility to win the gift certificates, and the barbecue owner gets the spur of new traffic. So the way that I work these is, every time I do these contests, it goes out to my current group of email lists, and then I promote them heavily on social channels and do some other, advertising for them as well. So it's actually a lose money deal for me right now. But that's okay, because that's, in line with what my goals are for my business. So we read the first line there. You see that, I go into a little bit more detail about the business. I did a podcast with this business owner a while back, so I linked that up. And then I try to clearly spell out what everybody's getting, just, to be very upfront about what's involved. And I tell people that by entering the contest, you'll be added to, our daily email update list. You'll be sent an email to confirm, and you can unsubscribe anytime, with one click from the bottom of every email. So it's possible that if someone just wanted to enter the contest, they could enter the contest, and then they could unsubscribe from that email list. But, that's fine. It is what it is. If people don't want to be there, that's fine. Doesn't happen very much. As you saw, that there was only 27 unsubscribers, so give or take, for the 600 and something that did subscribe. So I call that fairly good. What you're not seeing in this email, just because it didn't fit within the screenshot, is below this very last statement, there's a spot while this contest runs for people to enter their name and email and a submit button. So that's just what you were missing down there. So that's that. I hope that makes sense and kind of gives you a little bit more insight into how you can partner with other, local businesses. Okay, so here was another little shot of this contest bit. So if you didn't notice on that last page, this is actually a plugin into my WordPress. So this is just an add-on plugin that is handling most of this, but it integrates with my Aweber to add people to my list seamlessly and automatic. So this is another one here that I did with the local Sweet Frog yogurt franchise. And then this one, is win a free cup of frozen yogurt from Sweet Frog. Win one of two, okay. Yeah, this one was I only gave away 2 at this point in time. We had given away about a dozen before, and if I had a few left over, so I did another quick little contest to give away some. And surprisingly, there were 358 entrants for a total of 458 submissions. So after people click submit on that last page, they were then taken to a page that allowed them to share it on their social channels for a few extra entries, which is why there's this difference between the two numbers. So if you really plan on running a lot of contests in your business, maybe a plugin like this might be useful. That's really the only real reason I'm showing it to you here and showing you just a little bit, of ways the contest can work and what it can do for you. Okay, so now you've stayed with us this long, so now let's really dig into some, real kinds of creative things to help you get started and get your autoresponders or those scheduled messages set up. So autoresponders and scheduled message ideas, for specific businesses. So obviously I couldn't come up with something for every single one right here on the spot. So I kind of tried to come up with some different kinds of businesses that obviously work for those businesses, but could also kind of be maybe tailored or tweaked for your specific business if it's not listed here. So the first idea here is good for any business, and that's the top FAQs. So basically, what are those questions that people ask you the most about your business or your product or your service? Break them down into little short bits, maybe a little paragraph or a couple paragraphs or a page, something not too long. Maybe include some images in those emails if you need to for showing people or whatever it is. Maybe it even has a little video if you need to. With the real key being there that these questions are the questions that, all your customers ask you. So you can easily point people to your sign up form and say, hey, I answer all of those questions right here, in my email list or email newsletter or email club, whatever you want to call it. A very simple way to help to try to get people to join. It also could help cut down on the number of calls that you get. So people that do join your list, if you're giving them and sending that information, they're not going to have to call you on the phone to get it. And that's a very powerful thing too. You're setting into people's minds or educating them in exactly what people need to know in order to buy your products and services. It's kind of sneaky if you think about it like that. But you can guide people to buying whatever you want them to buy without being a hard sell here. I'm not saying any of this is buy my stuff, buy my stuff. You're simply educating people, and they can make their own decisions, to decide to buy. And that's the way that, I run all of my email lists. It's a very pure educational tool. Very little to no selling. Very little direct selling. It's all subtle stuff like this that, if someone wants to take that extra action and go, click and buy something, that's fine. But it's never a very pushy kind of thing. Alright, so moving along. So that, like I said, that'll work for any business. Even some of the other ones that are listed down here, taking your FAQs is a great idea. In addition to that, so maybe you've got 5 FAQs. In addition to those 5 FAQs, you could do another 5 with what should people know, or what questions do you think they should be asking. So go ahead and answer those kinds of questions. That's answering, or asking those questions and answering them is a good way to kind of give people that extra knowledge that they wouldn't have had, or you think that they're missing in order to make that informed decision when they're ready. All right, so next we've got, a catering kind of company. So if, let's just say you're a wedding catering company and you cater weddings and parties like that, you could do some that highlights your favorite venues. So for a caterer, you can do like the favorite venues or some of the best venues that you've been into, or even take it a step farther and maybe for those venues, maybe talk about what might be the best layout or the different types of setups that they can do for tables or dance floors or those kinds of things. Some other autoresponders could be common menus. These are our barbecue style menus or our Italian style menus. Those common kinds of menus, or what are the different choices that people can choose from within those menus. You could talk about the benefits of buffets versus sit down, or if some types of food or menus cater better to a buffet or a sit down, which ones are which, or why you should choose one over the other. And then other tips and advice, especially for a wedding. A caterer, might see hundreds and hundreds of weddings, or, work hundreds and hundreds of weddings in a year. Whereas, when someone's getting married, they might only do it once or twice, 2-3 times in their lifetime. So, you're at those events, you see all kinds of things that maybe would be improved upon in a particular event, what you might do better. So those tips and extra advice could be very valuable to your audience. Or you could even interview the previous brides and grooms that you've already worked with and ask what they would do differently, or if there's anything else that they, would have liked to know in advance. And then give that information to your audience or your email list. Next one is contractors. There are tons of general contractors that do the roofing, siding, additions, decks, basements, all those kinds of home-related contractual projects. So as a contractor, you could, it's always a great idea to show completed photos or, before and afters, I like to call them, to people, to let people see, what you did. It also gives people a great idea as to what they want to do or could do in the future for their own project or their own renovation. Or if I go with, so-and-so's company, they can do this for me. I've already seen it done, in this photo. So I think that's a fantastic way for a contractor to get their stuff out there. You could talk about if you've got, any kinds of new designs for a space or ways to lay out maybe a garage or any of those kinds of, all that information is very valuable to people. Another very critical one that could end up actually getting you more business is when you're out there on your projects, if you've got a quick video or you take photos of anything that's like a problem spot and talk about, the ways to identify the problem first of all, but after that, ways to go about solving the problem, or how you would go about solving the problem. If you're on the roof and you notice that, something's rotting and some shingles and some plywood is going to need to be replaced, talk about, why it might have occurred and how you go about fixing it. Tell people what to look out for so they can maybe hopefully identify them before they become bigger problems and get in touch with you to fix them. For dentists, they're always trying to remind you to floss. So what are some, you come up with some creative ways to help to get people to floss. Any tips to make it easy? If maybe you thinking with some psychology, you said, well, why don't you just keep the flossing stick in the car? Maybe that'll make it easier for people to do it more often. Any of those kinds of tips to make flossing easier for people, or brushing your teeth for that matter. Any of the kind of dental care. Product reviews. If there's, if you try out a whole series on electric toothbrushes and try out every single different model that might exist at the local, store, or that you guys get your hands on, and tell people what you thought about them, which ones you think from the dentist point of view, which ones you think may work best for people or not work best. Another option is, how to identify problems, or, is your enamel, are you sensitive to hot, cold liquids now? Is there something that people can do maybe at home to help, prevent those issues before they come into the dentist? Anything like that about identifying problems, or how to identify a cavity before it becomes a major issue so they can get in and get it fixed with you. Some dentists even say they have things for remedying snoring, so how to identify, your snoring patterns, or what someone might need to know about snoring, in order to make yourself useful. Everybody's always interested in keeping their teeth white, so any ways that people can, foods that people should maybe avoid eating or limit eating or drinking for that matter, to help keep their teeth white, or anything that people can do at home. I'm sure people at a dentist from your patients would love that. Next up, we've got a DJ. So maybe how to choose the proper playlist for your, wedding, party, event, get together, corporate event, any kind of thing like that. DJs are in a lot of different venues and locations as well. So they could also do that same kind of thing, sort of like maybe that a caterer does. So what are their favorite venues to play at? What are the best maybe setups for the DJ booth at that particular venue? Or even talk about, how many guests each of those venues can comfortably hold, and maybe still allow room for, dancing or those kinds of things. Questions to ask your DJ, especially the ones that people don't necessarily think of. Maybe like, what's your backup system look like? Do you have a backup system? Do you have insurance? What happens if something happens to your particular DJ? Is there a backup DJ that you've already got lined up? Those kinds of questions maybe. A lot of the DJs may also have other things in addition to just playing music that they do, like lighting or photo booths or those kinds of things. So maybe what are the different types of lighting? People don't know what those things are called. So if you can, lay them out and tell them when they may be able to use that particular style of lighting, that would really help people out, and it saves and cuts down the time for your own self of explaining it to every single person that walks through the door. A handyman. So handymen are in a lot of people's houses or around their houses, fixing problems. So they can do that same kind of thing that a contractor can do of, identifying problems or, things that may become problems and how to, avoid them or take care of those. Different types of products or ways to make things easier for people. A lot of handymen do seasonal updates or maintenance. So anything that can kind of preempt people to, know what needs to happen in particular seasons. Maybe it's gutter cleaning, maybe it's, painting or doing some kinds of yard work. But anything that explains those projects better definitely helps the handyman in the long run. You could talk about the different ways that you approach a particular project or a yard. And before and after photos are a great thing as well for handymen. Anytime that you can show people, what you started with and then how it finished, fantastic way for people to see what you can do, and also gives them great ideas of, they may not have even thought of having that done, but since you can do it, it might go ahead and, he just did that, let me go ahead and have him just go ahead and do it too for me. In my own case, I never even thought of having my garage done, but my handyman actually told me that he just finished a garage and painted the walls and epoxied the floor. I'm like, hey, I want that too. Let's go ahead and get that set up. So, just a simple photo sold me on more work for the handyman. So, that's a fantastic way to get more work in the door. Just show off the projects that you've already done. And it becomes easier for you to do it the more and more that you do that. For an HVAC company, everybody's worried about maintaining efficiency or optimizing or stretching their dollar the furthest when it comes to paying for the electric for the HVAC units and whatnot. And obviously making sure they run it the most efficient, in their most efficient way possible is definitely a thing to do. So any tips or care, making sure that things are away from your AC, condenser units outside, any kind of maintenance tips like that, anything that's specific to hot, cold weather, or maybe when that changeover happens, anything that people should be aware of or looking for. And changing filters. Goodness, everybody knows all about changing filters. A simple tip for an HVAC company, even if you don't actually do the changing of the filters yourself or your company doesn't do that, you could always have an affiliate link in an email that links them to wherever they need to go to buy those filters online. And once they buy them, you guys actually make a little tiny commission. Nice little sweet deal. for a landscaper, the different types of plants you work with, grass, stone, any of those different product lines, and why people might choose, one over the other, when to perform certain kinds of maintenance, how to care for your new plants, grass, or stones. I don't think stones need that much maintenance. You don't have to water them really. But definitely, certainly plants and grass, roses, bushes, shrubs, all those kinds of flowering plants and whatnot, they all have maintenance, and there's all certain particular ways you should do it, and certain nutrients they may need that you may need to buy and spread or what have you. So any of that kind of stuff really is a great idea to help put out there. Makeup artist. So a lot of makeup artists do wedding makeup exclusively, so maybe like how to prepare for your day. So is there anything special that the ladies or men could do in order to make your job as the makeup artist easier, or do to make the experience better overall? Obviously showering or bathing, I guess, makes perfect sense, but that's a little obvious. But anything else, if you are doing makeup, is there particular hairstyles that will complement the makeup or look better with a certain style of makeup maybe? Or is there different styles of makeup, smoky eyes or whatever these styles are? Anything that gives people a choice or maybe shows them different things. It'll just help you, throughout the process. It makes it easier for you if you've already, explained all this information to your bride or groom. And obviously, I think even pictures would do a fantastic job, too, of making that easier rather than just explaining the style. If you've already got a photo from a previous, job or client where you show that style, already done in picture form, I think that would make it vastly helpful for people. Next up, how about a nonprofit? Case studies of your impacts. So whatever the mission of your nonprofit is, what kind of impacts are you having? Do you have case studies that show that, or create those case studies that can be shown? And that'll just help to get you more donation dollars if your organization needs donations. Maybe an illustration of where those dollars go. So for every dollar that comes in, 93 cents goes to, helping the local community or helping, this specific subset of the community. Another great option would be to always lay out the ways for people to get involved. I talk to so many nonprofits, and they're always saying that, we don't have enough people, we can't get enough people to help out. So if you're constantly telling people, the ways that they can get involved and the ways that they can help you, or if they know someone else that can help, to get them involved or forward this email. So all those. Okay, and the final one, restaurants. All right, so, depending on the type of restaurant you own or operate, if you've got any special ingredients, you could talk about where they come. Maybe you get, Florida's or oranges from Florida, or you have, you import, fish from Hawaii. If you've got any kinds of special ingredients, then tell people about that. Putting it in that autoresponder, make sure everybody will eventually know about it. If you've got, particular recipes that, maybe have been passed down from generation to generation, that's a fantastic story. Tell the story behind it. Maybe tell people how your entire family's perfected it over the years, or you perfected it, or, that kind of thing. Another one is maybe give away the recipes for all those bestsellers. I know that might sound pretty crazy, but, people come to a restaurant, it's really all in the execution of those recipes anyway, and they're not going to make it the same as you. But a lot of people are looking for convenience anyway. It's not about, the recipe itself. It's about the convenience. So sharing the recipe makes them kind of feel a little bit more connected to you or to your restaurant. And they feel like they're getting that inside look, or even do a little video of you making that recipe. Great idea, to get those people really involved in what you're doing. And heck, maybe they might even suggest maybe a different or better way to do something, or maybe a little addition or some other spice that might complement whatever you've got nicely. So get your customers involved. All right, so that was the 10. So email is for you if you want a simple yet cost-effective solution to market your business. You want to build long-term relationships with your customers. Email is not a fast thing. Don't set it up and expect results tomorrow. It's going to take you a little while to build your list in most cases. So think about it as a long-term relationship with your customer, and anything you can do to further that relationship will benefit you later. Emails for you if you want a thriving business, if you want to turn your customers into repeat customers. They say it's much, much easier to sell to a repeat customer than it is to sell to a new customer. So make the most of what you already have. If you plan on selling your business in the future for maximum profit, or if your business is brand new, and even if it's been around for ages, email marketing is something that you definitely need to be doing in your business. So here's some of the action steps to get started. So to sign up for Aweber, you can go to yourdigitalsalesman.com/email. That'll take you directly to Aweber's site. You can go ahead and sign up. The first month is $1, and then for up to 500 people on your list, it's about $19 or $20 a month. And that's about the average for all of the standard kinds of services out there. After that, once you've signed up for your account, and that is an affiliate link again. So if you do go through that link, I do get a little commission, and I'm so appreciative if you really do. If you don't want to go through my link, that's fine too. You can just go Google Aweber and you'll get there. So after you've created your initial account, so essentially you've paid for it, after that piece, create an email list. Once you've created that email list, given it a name, fill in some other basic information, you set up that welcome message. You get to put in there whatever you'd like. Thank people for coming. Tell them how often you're going to send, and give them anything that you've told them you were going to send them. So after you've created that welcome message, go ahead and you insert the website code or get the link for the sign-up form so you can install it on your website. Or if you don't have a website, you can just grab the URL directly and let Aweber host it for you. Next, you can add any remaining autoresponder series messages if you have any to set up at that time. And I highly encourage you to make sure you get those autoresponder messages set up. If you know you're going to do a big sequence, let's just say you had 10 things in your autoresponder. You don't have to create them all today. If you knew one was only going to go out right now and the next one wasn't going to be for 2 weeks, you get the first one or two done, and then come back to the next ones, before they would have sent out. So you're limiting your amount of work as well. So, and then we've already talked about using all those previous strategies to get people to your forum. So those creative strategies to build your list. So we're almost at the end here, so hang with us just a couple more minutes and we'll be done. So if you need or want us, our company, to help you set it up, we can do it all for you. You don't have to do anything besides just creating that initial account, so essentially buying it and entering in your payment details. Once you've got your username and password, we can take it from there for you. We can create your list. We can craft that, welcome message that gets people to join and really engage with you. We can help you design a sign-up form or design it obviously for you and install it on your website, blog, wherever you'd like. Put it on a few pages of your site if you need it on multiple pages. And then create and adding an autoresponder sequence to your account. or even if you just need, an email strategy session with us, or if you want to go all the way out and, go all the way and want us to manage your email marketing for you, we can do that too. So if you do need help, have any questions, sign up and are a little confused, you're more than welcome to give us a call, 443-684-2184, or info@yourdigitalsalesman.com. Again, the sign up link to create your account is yourdigitalsalesman.com/email. So thanks so much for sticking it out with us here. We know it was a little bit long, but we really hope you got a ton of value. If you want to send us a message or let us know on Facebook, Twitter, or an email, if you really enjoyed this video, we'd surely love to get it. You can join our email list, yourdigitalsalesman.com/go. We do send, bi-weekly to monthly emails in most cases to all of our subscribers. Sign up link again is there if you need it. In addition, Aweber also has fantastic resources available at help.aweber.com. They've got videos, they've got, text step-by-step instructions. They've got everything out there if you need it. It's all there. Very simple, very easy to use. It's comprehensive. There's tons of stuff there. If you've got a question, it's probably out there. In addition, Aweber has some of the best customer support on the planet. If you call that, 877 number that's listed on your screen there, they will do a fantastic job and take care of you. And if they can't for some odd reason, get me involved and I'll try to help you out as well. But their customer support is fantastic. They do a great job of taking care of everybody. I've never had a problem that they couldn't resolve, and they always work with you and see it through, and it's usually very, very quick. So again, that's all the information there, and those help links are also in your account as soon as you sign up if you need it there. Thanks so much, and I really hope you enjoyed it. Talk to you later.